Good morning, Fred. It's a little early for me, but so I have to excuse the way that I look. The sun is just coming up here in Florida. Let I hate when people say things like this to me because let me tell you, my own son considers himself a leftist. Okay, 22 years old, he's in college. It is what it is. And you want to know something, Fred? Him and I have fantastic conversations. His father is a Democrat, and I, his mother, am a Republican. And we have never bestowed that onto him. We've decided to let him decide his own path. And he, at the age of 22, thinks that the members that are the leading party of the Democrat Party are a bunch of fucking morons. Okay? Okay? He has told me that numerous times. He has well thought that Kamala was a terrible candidate. And the way that Kamala was thrust into this presidential election was completely wrong in robbing people of their choice of a candidate. Okay? Now, he is not a fan of Donald Trump. He doesn't like Donald Trump. He thinks that some of Donald Trump's policies were good and did well for this country. But in all, he has said he's been very disappointed in the Democrat Party. And I would have to agree, Fred. Okay? So, no, Fred, I do not hate anybody, but probably my biological mother. But that's a whole nother story we won't get into. I don't hate anybody. Okay? What I don't like is when I give my reasons of why I chose to support the candidate that I did in this past election and the previous election, is a bunch of people getting in my comment section calling me a bunch of disgusting names and that sort of thing. It is not something that I do, Fred. I don't go into Democrats that choose to make political content on this site and insult them personally, say they're dumb, say they're stupid, their political views are dumb. I don't do any of that. If I don't agree with them, I just now, if I want to go back and forth with somebody, I might stitch their video. But what I hate is the absolute disgusting, vile words that come out of their mouths, okay? Simply because I chose a candidate that they didn't like, right? That's what I don't like. I don't hate people, especially people that I don't know. There are a lot of actual Democrats that I have met on this site that we have fantastic conversations in our DMs all the time. And sometimes we agree on things and sometimes we don't. What I can tell you, Fred, is that the trajectory path that America has been on the last 4 years has been awful for the American person. Okay? It has been awful for our border patrol. It has been awful for people that have been subjected to crimes from criminals that have not been prosecuted fairly and the right way and let back out of jail. It has been awful for the American family with the highest inflation and a 50-year high inflation and a 30-something year high, a bad economy, all of those things, okay? Now, do I think that Donald Trump is going to go into the White House and magically poof, everything's going to get better? No, and I have said such on this site numerous times, okay? But I don't hate people that are Democrats. I don't hate people that are consider themselves liberal. In the end of the day, we all want what's best for what we think this country should do for myself, their families, and for their friends and their loved ones. Isn't that what we all want at the end of the day? And what I think we can all agree on is that we as a collective society are sick and tired of politicians who go into these offices making $140,000 a year and being worth millions when they come out. They may go into these offices with these ideas of, I don't like the way things are going and I'm going to change it. And then the greedy little lobbyists get into their pockets and then they don't want to lose their jobs. So they just go along with the flow. Then they start the insider trading and then they become party line people. It's very rare that you're going to find politicians that are ready at this point, especially in this time, that are going to reach their hand across the aisle and say, hey, listen, we may not agree on things, but let's work together. This country has gotten so nasty, politically divided, that our elected representation isn't even wanting to work together at this point. They just want to own each other for their 5-second audio clips so they get that instant gratification on their social media pages. Just go take a look at Twitter or X. All day long, all you see is our elected, people fighting back and forth in comment sections. It's fucking sad. It's sad. So no. Fred, I don't hate liberals. I have plenty of friends that are Democrat. My best friend is a gay woman who was married and the love of her life, and they're both Democrats. And you want to know what, Fred? We sit across the table all the time and have fantastic conversations, and we respect each other. So no, I don't. When you see me clapping back at people, it's because they have been nasty to me, either in videos they have made about me or in the comment section where it's just not fucking needed. Okay. So when you see me clapping back at people, it's usually because of that, not because of their political views. When I make videos, people ask me, why are you voting for him? Why did you say this about him? Why do you think this about him? And I give my opinion. And that's kind of what social media has become. I don't like this political divide in our country, Fred. I think that we need to start working together for with a better thing. But you have a media that is dishonest. And you have politicians that are dishonest. The way that they discarded Joe Biden and pretended like he wasn't mentally having problems was not okay. The fact that his interns and his wife was running this country, and now all of those interns are running to the New York Post and the New York Times to say it, is not okay. The media lied. Every member of the Democrat Party lied. The vice president lied because they knew that Joe Biden was mentally declining and they didn't care. They wanted power and power above anything. They wanted power above Trump and power above everything. And that's not okay because they are elected to work for us. And the politicians in power have forgotten that. And I think this past election, America stood up and said, we may not really like Donald Trump and a lot of things that we don't like about him, but we're tired of this. Okay? The crazy ideology that has been sweeping our schools and our younger generation, it's not okay. And I think America stood up and said they were sick and tired of it. There's a lot of things we don't like about Donald Trump, but you know what? As far as leadership under his term, he didn't do too bad of a job, and that's what we're going to do. And what we're not going to do is listen to the political elite in Washington that have got so ingrained in power, it's gone to their fucking heads. Okay? And they basically pushed Biden aside because he failed so miserably at the last debate and said, poof, you're going to put her. This is who and you want to know why? Because legally, that's all they could take the money. It was about money and it's about power. It wasn't about what was best for this country. And she surrounded herself with a bunch of celebrities and a bunch of big media personalities and didn't care about what the American people were saying. But you know who did? Trump, or at least he acted like he did. Okay? She was a terrible candidate. She was a terrible candidate, Fred. I'm sorry, but she was, and it showed. And the media lied up until the very end, saying that she had an absolute chance. And now, as we see top people of her Democrat campaign coming out going, they always knew from the beginning she didn't have a chance, but they kept taking money from donors. And now those donors are going, hey, you lied to us. Where's our money? You see what I'm saying? Power and corruption has taken over this country in Washington. And what Donald Trump represented was saying enough of that. Now, if he's going to do it, good. I hope he does break apart the deep state. I hope he does send Washington on a tailspin because it needs to happen. And America gave them in Washington a mandate. Either you fix this and stop this bullshit, or we're going to find somebody else who will. And that's what's happening across the globe. Justin Trudeau just stepped down in Canada. You got Zuckerberg coming out on Facebook going, my bad, probably shouldn't have censored American citizens. We're going to not do that anymore because America stood up and said, we are done. He not only did he win the presidency, he won the House, he won the Senate, he won everything, swing state, popular vote. So no, Fred, I don't hate Democrats. I don't hate liberals. What I hate are people being nasty to me because they don't like who I supported in a political election. Okay? All right. This was fun. Good talk.